So good morning students. Today we will discuss current affairs quiz of insights for the date of April 11th. So let's start the quiz. Okay. So the first question, consider the following statements regarding the Central Armed Police Forces General Administration Act 2026. Okay. They are asking, first we will check this one. They are asking for which of them are correct. Then we will analyze the option one, only two, only all the three, and none. So this option, as we all know, are a bit difficult. Now we will read the statement. It replaces the individual administrative acts of all Central Armed Police Force. This all is the word here, extreme word. So it replaces the individual administrative acts of all Central Armed Police Forces with a single unified legislative framework for all personnel. So this all raises a question mark whether it is right or wrong. So since there is an extreme statement all, we will take this statement as wrong. So reading the second statement, the act establishes a mandatory 100% quota. This is another extreme one. 100% quota for Indian police service officers in the post of Director General and Special Director General across all specified CAPFs. Another extreme statement. So we will take this also as wrong. So the third statement, the provisions of this act are subject to the prior administrative orders and judicial precedents established by high courts regarding CAPF service conditions. So this can be right because the provisions of this act are subject to prior administrative orders and judicial precedents established by high courts. So high courts have a power. Definitely they have power. Judicial precedent is mentioned regarding the CAPF service condition. This can be a right statement. So which of them are correct? 1 and 2 is wrong. So only one is correct here. That is the third statement. Now we move on to the second question. So in the second question, there are two statements. Let us read the option. Both 1 and 2 are correct and 2 explains 1. Both 1 and 2 are correct and 2 not explain 1. And 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect, 1 is incorrect, 2 is correct. So we can conclude that any one of the statement is at least right, or both are right. Now we will read the statement. The National Scheduled Tribe Finance and Development Corporation functions as a specialized public sector undertaking for the financial inclusion of tribal communities. Okay, let's leave it and read the second statement. This one, National Scheduled Tribe Finance and Development Corporation, operates as a apex national organization under Ministry of Finance to provide concessional financial assistance to scheduled tribes. See, whenever UPSC mentions something related to some department or some function or objective, anything related to some ministry, then for the majority of chances they will be wrong. So here it may not be the Ministry of Finance, it may be the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Mostly that is a chance. So we will take statement 2 as wrong anyway. So find a matching option for that. Statement 2 is incorrect. This is the only option where statement 2 is incorrect. So we will mark C as the answer here. So move on to the third question. With reference to United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, consider the following statements. There are 4 statements. They are asking which of them are correct. And again, the option is very tough. 1, 2, 3, and all the 4. We have to individually read it and analyze. Now, ECOSOC is the primary body for coordinating the economic and social work of the UN specialized agencies. Can be right. Then if it is not the primary body, then why should we form an organization like this? So that might be correct. The council decisions are legally binding. There are only few or only very few which you can count with your fingers, such organizations in the UN where the thing is these decisions are binding. So ECOSOC decisions may not be legally binding on all UN member states to ensure the implementation of the 2030 agenda. Cannot be true. As per logic, it cannot be true. And India currently holds seats in the Commission on Science and Technology for the Development and the Committee on Non-Governmental Organization. I have no idea about that. Let's leave that. Membership in the subsidiary bodies of ECOSOC is reserved for the countries that are permanent members of the UN Security Council. So let's leave this question. We will mark it later. Anyway, the first statement is bound to be correct. So let's leave it. And the second statement also, it is wrong. So we can eliminate D, all the four, and concentrate on the rest of the ABC option. So we will come to that later. We will move on to the question number 4. Consider the following statements regarding the emperor penguin. Okay. Which of them are correct? Again, the options are again frustrating. It is difficult. We will analyze the 3 statements now. It is a sentinel species that relies on the fast sea ice attached to the coastal line. So that is the fast ice, sea ice attached to the coastal line for breeding and molting. See, any animal rely only on the sea. They won't go far from the sea mostly. So sentinel species, it can be the species where they depend on the sea ice near the coastline for breeding and molding. This can be right. The species is currently classified as vulnerable by the IUCN due to the stable population trends observed in the East Antarctica. If it is stable, then why should it be vulnerable? Species is classified vulnerable due to stable population. Vulnerable means there poses a threat, right? So stability won't come there in vulnerable session. So this cannot be right, I think. Second should be wrong. So third, unlike other marine birds, emperor penguins are waterproof throughout their another extreme, throughout their entire life cycle, including the molting phase. So this cannot be right. At any of the phase, they will lose their waterproof capacity. So 2 and 3 are wrong here. One may be correct. So we will mark the answer as A. I'm moving on to the 5th question and the last question for today. In the context of recent breakthroughs in organic nanomaterials, what is the primary function of naphthalene dilamide as discovered by Sens and J.N. Kasser? Okay. So let's concentrate on these keywords like organic nanomaterials. There is a breakthrough has happened. So what is the function of naphthalene dilamide? Let's dig that out. The first option, it acts as a high temperature superconductor for quantum computing. Okay, it functions as a permanent magnet that maintains its polarity regardless of the thermal changes. Okay, it is a biological catalyst used for the desalination of seawater. Okay, it serves as a molecular dimmer switch that changes conductivity based on temperature. Okay, so there is a breakthrough now. So that happened due to this thing, naphthalene dilamide compound. So it is an organic nanomaterial. So what is the function of this special organic nano? So in this kind of situation, we use a technique called pick the odd one. Pick the odd one out. You might have heard in your childhood. So the same thing we are doing here. The first option concentrates on high temperature and quantum computing. So temperature comes here. It functions as a permanent magnet that maintains polarity regardless of thermal change. Here also temperature comes. It's a biological gas used for desalination of water. So this one is out. There is no temperature mentioned in option C. And fourth one, it serves as a molecular dimmer switch that changes conductivity based on temperature again. So 3 times temperature repeats. So this thing, naphthalene dilamide, should be something related to temperature. So now we will analyze, we will eliminate option C and we will analyze A, B and D. So it has a high temperature superconductor for quantum computing, functions as a permanent magnet that maintains its polarity regardless of thermal changes. It serves as a molecular dimmer switch that changes conductivity based on temperature. So this will help more than any of them mentioned in A and B. See, in A, it only acts as a high temperature superconductor for quantum computing. So it can be replaceable with some other compounds also. High temperature superconductor conductivity is experienced by other materials also, not this alone, this naphthalene dilamide. It functions as a permanent magnet that maintains its polarity regardless of thermal changes. This also has multiple compounds which shows this property. So, but this one serves as a molecular dimmer switch that changes conductivity based on temperature. This will be more useful, right? So the conductivity is changed based on temperature. That will be more suitable for a device. So this can be the answer for the fifth question. Now we will check, rewind if any questions are left. Yes, third question is left behind. So what was it? We eliminated all the 4 options and we remain the other 3 options remains A, B, C. So we have made this statement as right. One is right, second is wrong. So we have to analyze only 3 and 4. So India currently holds seats in Commission of Science and Technology for Development and Committee on Non-Governmental Organization. We cannot guess that to that extent. Membership in subsidiary bodies of ECOSOC is reserved for countries that are permanent members of the United Security Council. I don't think so, because UNSC permanent members have priority only, they have priority which is unofficial, but officially they don't have any other priority in other United Nations organization. So it may not be reserved for the UN permanent members. And the third one, India currently holds seats for these 2 organizations, non-government organization and Science and Technology Department. So this is doubtable, but since India is mentioned and India finds new places in every forum, we can take 3 as right, and we are left with option B. Only 2 of them, that is 1 and 3 are right, 2 and 4 are incorrect. So now we will end the quiz and find out how many of them were right. So let's find out. 50%. That means everything went right. Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So let's look at the answers now, since we have gotten all correct. Here we have all central, this extreme word. This we have eliminated. We have took this as wrong. We took this one 100% quota as wrong, and this we have taken as right one. So 1 and 2 are wrong, 3 is the right one. Let's look at the answer. It is different, right? Our analysis and the answer, real answer is different. Then also we have made the right answer due to these options only. Okay. So this is the beauty of this kind of option. So the first statement is incorrect. That is okay. We have made it incorrect also. The second statement is correct. Second statement, we have made that as incorrect one due to the 100% quota for IPS officers. But the third statement was incorrect, but we have marked that as correct. Only the final thing what counts is we have made this answer right using logic. That's the only thing that counts at the end of the answer. So anyway, please make a note of these options. Just read it and move on. Okay. And this one is clean. The second question. As we have read in the second question, the ministry comes here. So whenever a ministry is attached to an objective or an organization, Usually in UPSC it is wrong. There are more chances to get it wrong. So that's why we mark this option as wrong, and there is only one option that tells us that statement 2 is incorrect. That is the option C. So here we have one right. And third question. So here we have marked 1 and 3 as correct and 2 and 4 as incorrect. So let's check whether this is the answer. So here this is 1 and 3 is correct, 2 is incorrect, 4 is incorrect. So that's okay. So how we have done that? Our marking matches with the answer. So we have, see, primary body for coordinating economic and social work, that is ECOSOC. So if ECOSOC is not the primary body for managing economical and social work, then why should we constitute ECOSOC? That's the question here. So this is right. So the first statement is correct. Council's decisions are legally binding. So this is wrong, as UNSC only holds the legally binding conditions. So statement 2 is incorrect. That's okay. In the second round only we analyze these two options, 3 and 4. So how we have done this? We have marked option 3 as correct, and fortunately that is also correct here. So option 3 is correct because India currently is holding a greater position in every organization, a greater place. India is finding big places, big recognitions. So it should hold some organization, some commission, etc. in some forum. So that's why we took 3 as correct, and 4 is incorrect. Here also 4 is in the answer, also 4 is incorrect. So why we took 4 as incorrect? ECOSOC, the permanent members have reserved seats. So that only happens in UNSC. It doesn't happen in other organization officially. Unofficially it may happen, but we are not concerned about unofficial things here. That's why. So yes, that's a good guess, I think. Pretty happy that today all the 5 questions went right. There is a great use of logic today. So Emperor Penguin here. So statement 1 is correct. As we can see in the explanation, statement 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect, and 3 is also incorrect. We also followed the same way. So how we arrived at the answer? Attached to the coastline. This is the key word here. So any species, they prefer to be attached near the coastline, like 1 to 10 kilometers within the coastline. They will barely go to the interiors of the continent. So that's the trait of any species. So that's why we took this one as right answer. Second one, vulnerable, and then they say stable population. So how can that be right? Vulnerable means something which is negative. So stable population means something which is positive. So this is contradictory. That's why we took statement 2 as wrong. And in statement 3, waterproof throughout their entire life cycle. So this is an extreme statement. That's why we took that as wrong statement. Good use of logic here. So we will move on. Just read it and move on. Fifth question. Yes, we took the odd one out principle and we eliminated option C. Then we analyzed the temperature factor, temperature, thermal change, here also temperature. So out of which one will be more specific and more useful? See, this is a high temperature superconductor for quantum computing, but this material alone does not hold that speciality. The other materials also hold this speciality. It functions as a permanent magnet that maintains a polarity, permanent magnet. Other materials also can be used as a permanent magnet at any subject to any thermal changes. So we eliminated this also. That's how we arrived at answer D, because it is very specific that it acts as a dimmer switch that changes conductivity based on temperature. That is very useful, and it can be a breakthrough also. So this is our logic which we applied today, and it worked well. I am happy to see that. You can also do that. Just sit, give some time and think, read again and again, and find out what the examiner is expecting from you. You can crack this with common sense and logic, and knowledge adds to your advantage. So this is how it is done, guys. You can definitely crack this. So meet you tomorrow, Sunday, and we will solve some UPSC previous year questions on Sunday. Good luck, students. Keep studying, keep using logic. Thank you.